Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description. But in today's video, I will be doing my updated 2020 election prediction for the month of August. Now, I did do my battleground map a couple days ago on August 1st, I believe, and that was the prediction for what the map looked like at the time. This is a prediction for what the map will look like in November. Now, it's hard to predict everything that's going to come November, but we do have somewhat of an idea of many things that may occur before the November election. And this is, predicting how states are going to trend come November. Will Joe Biden do better or worse than he's doing now? All of those things. So first, as always, we will do the safe states, filling out these safe states. Now, first, the state of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of Nebraska except for the 2nd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and that is going to be 125 safe electoral votes for the Republican Party and Donald Trump. And then for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, he will win Washington, Oregon, and California by safe margin, as well as the state of Hawaii, as well as the state of Illinois, as well as the state of New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, D.C., and Maine's 1st district. So that is 183 safe electoral votes for Joe Biden, and then there is 125 safe electoral votes for Donald Trump. Now, getting into the likely lean and tilt margin states, first we'll start off with the likely margin states for Donald Trump, and there actually is only one of them, and it is Maine's 2nd district, not actually a state, but a district. Maine splits up their electoral votes proportionally by the 1st congressional district, the 2nd congressional district, and the popular vote winner gets Maine at large. But Maine's 2nd district did go by just over 10 percentage points to Donald Trump in 2016, and I do believe he's going to be able to win it again by a likely margin, probably by around 5 to 6 percentage points. You could argue that it's a little closer at this point, but I do believe that at least right now you're going to be seeing quite a bit of a trend back towards the Democratic column. Democrats won this seat in the midterms with, their candidate Jared Golden, and it's looking like he's going to be able to win his district again, and it's looking like that is going to help Joe Biden at least a little bit in terms of Maine's 2nd district. And then getting into these likely margin states for the Democrats and Joe Biden, first, I do believe he will win Colorado and New Mexico by likely margin states. These are states that have trended quite heavily towards the Democrats in recent years. For example, in Colorado, you have the Colorado Springs area with the suburban area that's near it that is trending heavily towards the Democrats. You also have in New Mexico an influence of Latino voters, the Albuquerque suburbs, Santa Fe, those kinds of places are helping the Democrats as well. And you could argue these will be close to safe margin. I do think New Mexico will be very, very close to safe margin. Colorado will probably go by around 8 percentage points. But at least for now, I'm going to be putting them at likely margins. And then the second to last state here is the state of Virginia. Virginia is another state that is trended towards the Democratic column as opposed to many of the years. If you look back at 2008, for example, Barack Obama won this state in 2008. It was the first time that Democrats had won that state since 1964, and now they haven't lost it since. They've, got the trifecta in the state legislature. They've got the governor. They've got 2 Democratic senators, and Democrats are looking poised to win this state again, and it's 13 electoral votes quite easily. And then the final one here is Maine at large. Maine at large went to around 3 points to Hillary Clinton in 2016. The polling data so far has shown that Joe Biden is in a very good position here, and while the polls did underestimate Donald Trump here in Maine, it's looking like Joe Biden is going to have at least a little bit of a swing back towards the Democratic column regardless, due to his, he's doing better with white voters, he's doing better with older voters, and it is going to help in a state like Maine. Now, getting into these lean margin states here, I will first off with the state of Texas for the Republican column. Texas is a state that has been trending towards the Democratic column. Republicans are going to have to do something about the fact that they're losing Texas because I've made videos about this before. If Republicans lose Texas, they virtually cannot win again. And there's, this is a national realignment election. You're going to have a lot of states that haven't gone to either party in quite a long time. We could very well see that, and Texas is a big part in that. Joe Biden's spending quite a bit of money in this state, seeing if, he can make it closer, seeing if he can actually flip it, flip some of those congressional seats as well. And that is going to be a problem for Republicans in the future, but at least for now, I do believe Republicans are going to win it by around 4 percentage points, but there is no doubt this state is trending blue. The suburban areas in this state are doing very well for Joe Biden at this point, and that is going to be good for him winning you're actually getting closer in the state of Texas, as well as the states of Iowa and Ohio. These are states in which trended very far to the right, as opposed to we've been talking about states that have been trending towards the left. These states have been trending towards the right. If you've looked, historically, these were the big battleground states. If you look even at 2012, Barack Obama won Iowa by 6 percentage points, and then he won Ohio by around 2.5 percentage points. If you, fast forward to 2016, Donald Trump won Iowa by almost 10 percentage points and won Ohio by almost 9 percentage points, and that's a pretty big swing. Some polls have actually shown Joe Biden ahead in these two states, and while I do expect, Donald Trump to make some of those gains back with those white working class voters as we see the election go further on, as Biden's VP pick is probably either Kamala Harris or Susan Rice, which wouldn't necessarily help with these groups. I do expect Donald Trump to gain at least a little bit with those voters, and then he will end up winning those states by lean margins, but it is worrying that it is this close regardless. Getting into these lean margin states for Democrats, first, I do believe they will win the state of Nevada by a lean margin state. Nevada is a state that has a high Latino population. It has a very liberally skewed electorate as well, and Clark County is a big influence, but I do expect, because of the fact that Joe Biden will do better in these Las Vegas suburbs, that he will end up being able to win this state, because otherwise his Latino performance, his Latino turnout would not necessarily be that good. But I do believe he will win the state by a lean margin regardless. And then another state that I do believe he won by a lean margin is the state of Minnesota. Minnesota is a weird state. You've got counteracting trends in this state. If you look at the northern part of the state, you see what's called the Iron Range, where you have, lifelong Democrats that are going towards the Republican Party. But if you look at the, Minneapolis, St. Paul suburbs, they are trending more towards the Democratic Party. And so you have these counteracting trends. And I do believe, at least for now, the suburban trends are going to be more influential, as well as the fact that the electorate will probably be more to the left than it was in 2016, when Hillary only won Minnesota by 1.5 percentage points. I do expect Joe Biden to be able to win this state by around 4 percentage points, but in the future, this is going to be a state Democrats are going to have to worry about. And then we have a couple more states here. First is the state of Michigan. Michigan is a historically Democratic state. The Democrats are very close in the state Senate and the state House. They hold the governorship here. There are 2 Democratic senators. They have a Democratic governor, and, Donald Trump was the first Republican to win this state since 1988 or 1984, one of those years. And so it was very difficult for them to win. And, Donald Trump only won this state by 0.2 percentage points here. And so it's going to be very difficult for him to win again, because there are a lot of people leaving the Republican Party due to Donald Trump's actions, his response to the virus, his response to the protests, things like that. And that is hurting him. And Michigan is one of the first states that's going to flip due to the fact that, mainly just Donald Trump did not win it by very much. And that's going to be difficult for him to win it again. You have a similar story in Pennsylvania, as well as the fact that Joe Biden does have connections in this state. He was born in this state, and he does live near the state. He was nicknamed, Pennsylvania's third senator for a while. He's doing very well in the polls here. And he's expected to make gains in, Harrisburg suburbs, Pittsburgh suburbs, Philadelphia suburbs, and a lot of the trends you're seeing in western Pennsylvania may not be as strong to counteract that, especially, or at least for this election. And then the final state that will be going by lean margin towards the Democrats is the state of New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire is a state that has a high white population. It's quite a small state. It has a high rural population as well. You would think that, also on top of the fact that Joe Biden didn't do very well here in the primary, that Donald Trump would be able to make gains in this state, but the polling data that we've seen has not shown it to be very close at all, and I don't think, at least for now, that Donald Trump has much of a chance of winning it, and I do believe by November it'll be by around a lean margin here. Now getting into these tilt margin states. First, the tilt margin states for the Republicans. The first one is the state of Georgia. Now, Georgia is a state where, again, you're seeing this state is trending towards the Democrats. Georgia is a state where you have the Atlanta suburbs. If you look at, Cobb County, Gwinnett County, Fulton County, these are becoming Democratic strongholds in the future, and Republicans are going to have to do something about this, because they're already kind of maxed out in these rural areas, and Democrats are making a lot of gains here. The polls have shown that actually Joe Biden is winning in this state, and we'll see whether those polls are actually accurate, but that is is what the polls say. And so Republicans should also be worried about this state, but at least for now, I do expect Donald Trump to gain, with some of those undecided voters that may be unsure, that don't like either of them, just because Donald Trump is he is a Republican. So I do expect him to make some gains with those undecided voters and eventually winning Georgia by around 1 percentage point there. And then the final top margin state for them, you can already see the margin here, is North Carolina. North Carolina, I do believe, will be tilt Republican. This is going to be a very, very close state. I actually do expect this to be the closest state in terms of the margin of victory here. North Carolina is a state where you have a lot of suburban areas, but you also have a lot of rural areas that Republicans have to gain in. So again, similar to Minnesota, for example, you have counteracting trends. And Donald Trump did win this state by 3.5 percentage points in 2016. And you also have an unpopular senator in Tom Tillis here, who is, hurting Republicans at the top of the ballot and down ballot. I do expect in this scenario, Donald Trump to win by around 0.5 percentage point, maybe even less than that, and Tom Tillis to narrowly lose because he's running a couple points behind Donald Trump. But at least for now, I think North Carolina maybe, it may be the closest state of this election and could easily go to either side. But at least for now, I am putting it tilt Republican. And then we can fill out these states for the Democrats here. First is the state of Florida. Florida is a state in which you have the incumbency advantage that Donald Trump supposedly has. The state does love Republican incumbents, especially Republican incumbents. It is Donald Trump's home state here, but the polling data, which, is historically accurate if we compare to 2016 in Florida, has shown Joe Biden ahead by around 6 percentage points, and that's very difficult to overcome. You see a lot of these Miami suburbs, Tampa suburbs that are trending towards the Democrats, and it's going to be harder for Republicans to counteract this. And if Joe Biden can get enough Latino turnout, he is going to be able to win this state, and I do believe by November he's going to be able to narrowly win the state in a tilt margin. Arizona is another state I do believe he will win by a tilt margin. This is a state that's been trending towards the Democrats mainly and mostly because of Maricopa County, where you have the suburban voters. It's not really because of Latino voters here. Same thing in Texas. It's because of these suburban voters, these white college-educated voters that are trending away from the Republican Party. They used to be once the stronghold of the Republican Party, and the Democrats used to have these rural voters. But now you're kind of seeing, again, I pointed this out, it's a national realignment election. And so Joe Biden is going to make gains across the suburbs in virtually everywhere, even in states that are trending towards the Republican Party. And in a state like Arizona, that has a lot of influence on the actual outcome, and I do believe that Joe Biden will be winning it by a tilt margin. Then we have two more here. First is Nebraska's 2nd District, and then Wisconsin. Nebraska's 2nd District is, again, a very suburban suburb here. It includes the suburbs and exurbs and city of Omaha that, Donald Trump really won by 2 percentage points in 2016. So it's going to be difficult to retain it, especially when you have these trends that are not looking too favorable for you. And at least for now, I will be predicting it for November to be tilt Democrat. And then Wisconsin, Wisconsin, out of those, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, it is the most Republican. It's, trending towards the Republicans the most, and it is the hardest for Democrats to flip. Now, Wisconsin, still is a state that has historically been Democrat. Democrats do have a governor here. They flipped the governorship in 2018, but it's going to take a lot to flip this state, and I do believe Joe Biden will flip it, but it is going to be close. It depends on how much turnout there is in these WOW counties, the Republican counties there, as well as how much turnout, Joe Biden can get in Madison and Milwaukee. And so, overall, with all that considered, I do expect for now, at least, it to be a tilt Democratic state. And, you also have the polls as well that were not accurate here in 2016, so I try not to focus on them too much. But overall, the map looks like 319 electoral votes for Joe Biden, 219 electoral votes for Donald Trump. This would make Joe Biden the 46th president here, defeating the incumbent president Donald Trump and going on to become the president. So, thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description. So, again, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.